whip and quick point guard. The senior is the maestro, the orchestrator of the Bowling Green offense. Sports Channel College Basketball, Michigan State and Bowling Green is next. Welcome to Anderson Arena on the campus of Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio, where it has been 20 years since a Big Ten team came in to play basketball in this building. That changes today as Judd Heathcote brings his nationally 5th-ranked Spartans of Michigan State in to meet Jim Larenega's undefeated Falcons of Bowling Green. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michael Regai. We're happy you're with us. I'll call the play-by-play for you. My partner is the former great center at Ohio State, Luke Whitty. What we have here this afternoon is a subplot within the drama, if you will. Michigan State ranked 5th nationally. Yes, they're a good basketball team. They're coming in with 1 loss, but oh, how they remember that setback to Bowling Green 1 year ago in the Breslin Center. And Luke Whitty, they're talking about a serious business trip here today. This isn't fun and games. Judd Heathcote wants to come in and come out with a win.
This is definitely serious because Heathcote's using the word revenge, and he wants it very badly. Coming in here, they need this basketball game. Even though they lost to a very good Nebraska team, they need this game to get themselves started for the season. They're coming in with a lot of rankings, a lot of people saying, hey, you're the greatest, but they need to win here at Bowling Green.
We showed you one of the premier players of America in our Open, that being Steve Smith. He's 6'6". He can shoot it from the outside. He can take it to the hoop. He can just about do it all. The man that makes this Michigan State machine go, Luke.
I'd say definitely Smith is a player to look at because he has so much talent. The biggest thing that he has going for him is his size because he dominates over, especially the Bowling Green guards. He is tall, he can shoot from the outside, he is a three-point threat, and he can go inside real strong.
He will give Bowling Green's defense headaches, to be sure. But when you talk about the Falcons offensively, they love the 94-foot transition game. They'll push it at you every chance they get, and that means the maestro, Clinton Venable, 5'11", leads the attack. Can Michigan State match his speed, Luke?
Well, it's hard to tell because the thing of it is, Clinton is so good, he is so quick, he can move around the basketball court. He is their quarterback. He's Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside. He does a great deal all over the basketball court.
Well, there you have it. The scene is set. You pull up a chair, get buckled in. It's going to be a great one from here at Anderson Arena. Number 5, Michigan State from the Big Ten against Bowling Green's undefeated and highly regarded Falcons of Jim Larenega. It's coming up next on Sports Channel's College Basketball. State University basketball Falcons. Let's join PA announcer Tom Glick for the assignments that you'll see on the floor in the starting lineup.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's game between the Spartans of Michigan State University and the Fighting Falcons of Bowling Green. And now introducing the starting lineups for Michigan State at guard, number 11, Mark Montgomery. For the Falcons at guard, number 10, Clinton Venable. For Michigan State at guard, number 21, Steve Smith. For Bowling Green at guard, number 15, Kurt Whiteman. For the Spartans at center, number 31, Dwayne Stevens. And for the Falcons at center, number 44, Ed Colbert. For Michigan State at forward, number 35, Matt Stenga. For Bowling Green at forward, number 23, Steve Watson. For the Spartans at forward, number 42, Parrish Hickman. And for the Falcons at forward, number 24, Joe Moore. Head coach for Michigan State is Judd Heathcote. Head coach for the Falcons is Jim Larinaga.
So there you have it, a good look at Jim Larinaga, the man who is now in his 5th year here at Bowling Green and has really turned the fortunes of this Falcon basketball program into what he has wanted. Michigan State has not begun the season, Luke Whitty, 1-2 since way back in 1976 and 77. They're facing that today if they cannot extract the W out of this frenzy that is Anderson Arena.
Well, like we said at the top of the show, Michigan State definitely needs to get on the win side for this afternoon. The thing of it is, the whole thing about losing to Bowling Green last year, the revenge factor coming back in, having to play at Anderson Arena, tight crowd, they're right on the floor, there's a lot of noise here, but the thing of it is, they must come out with a win, must resettle themselves.
You see Mike Peplowski, the 6'10", 270-pound center for Michigan State, talking to assistant coach Stan Joplin. He has been hobbled by some reoccurring back problems. Peplowski not getting the start today. Dwayne Stevens comes off Judd Heathcote's bench to get the call instead, Luke.
Well, Stevens hasn't had as much experience. He's a sophomore, but I think he can do the job. Peplowski we will probably see this afternoon, although he spent the whole time in warm-up laying on a bench with a heat pack on his back.
So we'll have to see how this afternoon progresses to find out whether Mike Peplowski will get a call or not. There's a good look at the man that won a national championship with his Michigan State Spartans, and of course led by Irvin Magic Johnson, Gregory Kelser, and Jay Vincent back in 1979. Judd Heathcote, 2-1 versus BG. Luke, he's been around this game a long, long time.
Well, he has a lot of credentials coming in. He is a very smart basketball coach. He is the old school, what I call, and I really like Judd because he's very conventional about everything. He does things fundamentally sound, and I like that.
We're all set to go. 5th-ranked Michigan State and Bowling Green have tipped it off from here at Anderson Arena. The Spartans will go on the offense first. Mark Montgomery will run the show for Judd Heathcote. Smith is going to rise up right away. Doesn't get the 14-footer to fall, and Clinton Venable will run it down baseline. BG will keep it as it's slapped out of bounds. Michigan State wastes no time in going to their money man, Steve Smith.
Well, they're having Smith set up at the high post. He comes to the foul line, little turnaround jumper. If he can get the ball in that position continually during the course of the afternoon, we're going to see a lot of points put up by Smith.
Just underway, settle back and enjoy it from here at Anderson Arena. This is Clinton Venable outside the three-point arc. Almost had it ripped away by Mark Montgomery. The basketball is going to stay with Bowling Green. Number 5 ranked in the land. Michigan State Spartans in here off their loss to Nebraska on Wednesday night.
Nebraska does not have a slouch team by any means with Danny Nee coming in. Good basketball team in Nebraska.
Kirk Whiteman's triple try will not fall. Hung on that front iron and run down by Dwayne Stevens for Michigan State. So both ball clubs come up lacking on their first field goal attempt. Mark Montgomery works Clinton Venable across that timeline. Joe Moore in the face of Matt Steginga. Steve Smith in trouble. Parrish Hickman will flash inside. Dwayne Stevens will fire down the first jumper of this contest, hit a 12-footer off the baseline.
Hickman driving into the lane, looking for Smith in the open. Good eye contact.
Venable having trouble with the basketball. Mark Montgomery has ripped it away. Turnover, Bowling Green. Smith, long down court pass. Stevens up off the iron, wouldn't fall. Had it stripped away by little Kirk Whiteman. Venable looks to run. Offensive foul on the Bowling Green point guard. Excellent position by Mark Montgomery. Got right inside Clint Venable's move up the floor.
Well, Montgomery is an excellent student besides being a smart basketball player. The thing of it is he got himself in position right at the right point.
2-0 Michigan State just underway from here at Anderson Arena. Happy you're with us on Sports Channel for this collegiate basketball contest between the Spartans and Bowling Green. A lot of trap pressure from Bowling Green defensively. Montgomery, excellent pass across court. Stevens could not find room over Colt. Spartans have to reset it. We have got a hold about 22 feet away from the hoop. Tommy Rucker, one of the officials here today, made the call, and it's going to go on Kirk Whiteman. You have a good look at Whiteman. He is a 6-foot junior guard for Jim Larinaga.
The Falcons playing a very stingy defense that time, making Michigan State go back, reset their offense.
Spartans on top 2-0 and with the basketball as we just get it going from here in Anderson Arena. Stegenga will float one up from the baseline and then tipped it, his own miss off the window.
Stegenga, I like him. He plays like a John Havlicek. He's always moving around the basketball court, that time penetrating and then following his shot.
Whiteman again for the triple. Way off front iron. Joe Moore on the putback, not there. Lit on the hoop for Bowling Green. They've missed all 3 of their attempts. Martin Montgomery will run it. Excellent dish. Stegenga will wham it down with 2 hands. Just hammered home the jam off the Montgomery pass.
Stegenga looking at that left lane being open all the way down. The Falcons are going to have to cover him up. When anybody starts a fast break, you got to go for the people that are running the lanes free.
Too quick, Matt Stegenga hoop says Michigan State on top, 6-4. Venable can't find it from about 14 feet away. Bowling Green very cold to start it. And Colbert checks off to Wayne Stevens at the baseline. Hickman will go strong to the hoop and then it's stripped away. On the breakout comes Kirk Whiteman. Venable on the up fake, 14-footer, yes. But Venable, first hoop of the afternoon from Bowling Green, hit the 14-footer after a nice up fake.
Bowling Green got 2 out of it that time, but the problem is they didn't have anybody running the left lane. They need their people fast breaking on the break, getting it to those open people.
Steve Smith almost lost control. Montgomery will send the 3. Not there, ripped off by Joe Moore. Venable with his shaking and baking. Had it kicked away, and Joe Moore will pick it up as BG sets that offense. Venable baseline, offensive foul. That is a major call, Luke Whitty. That's number 2 on Clint Venable. That's going to make Jim Larinaga go to his bench and get Michael Huger.
Well, they're going to have to replace him. You can't have your star player, so to speak, coming in there with 2 fouls very early in the basketball game. 16:27 left. Regardless if it's a questionable call or who you're in favor of, it's still 2 fouls.
Pair of offensive fouls on Clinton Venable. There's a good look at Michael Huger. He is a 6-foot sophomore out of Adlai Stevenson High School, right in the heart of Manhattan, New York City.
Again, Jim Larinaga going to the East Coast, getting those people out of the East.
Jim has tremendous ties there. And Michael Huger comes in and makes his presence felt. Hounds Mark Montgomery into an over and back violation.
Well, Montgomery, like I said, a smart basketball player. Huger very quick on the ball. Here you see him going nose to nose with him. Hands. That's what you got to do. Good, strong defense.
Turnover, Michigan State. Judd Heathcote taking a look at that board that sees the Spartans on top 6-2. We played about 4 in this contest here at Anderson Arena. Very happy you're with us on Sports Channel's college basketball affair. Watson with the alley-oop lob for Joe Moore. He could not connect, but he'll run it down and save. BG looking to cut in that lead. Michael Huger goes off the window, not there. Volleyball up on the glass before Parrish. Hickman rips it down strong for Michigan State.
The advantage, I would have to say, is to Bowling Green's favor with the people on the board. A lot more size underneath at this point.
Montgomery gets Wayne Stevens an open 12-foot jumper. He can't find it. We've got a foul underneath. Referee Larry Spakel made the call, and it's going to go on Bowling Green's 6'9" senior center Eddie Colbert.
Colbert is the wide body at this point of the game, playing underneath for the Falcons. A little bit too rough.
Well, Michigan State, to keynote it in the contest for the Spartans is John Zuloff, a 6'6", 205-pound junior, sophomore eligible out of Port Huron, Michigan. Interesting there, Luke, his twin brother Jay, who is now at Marquette, started his career here with Jim Larinaga in Bowling Green.
They always turn, don't they?
Yes, they do. Baseline, Steve Smith floats it up from 4 feet away and connects for the first time this afternoon. You're going to hear a lot about that young man. He's 6'7", silky smooth, and he averages 23.5 a game and is an All-American.
Yes, he is.
Bowling Green down 8-2. Offense not productive as of yet for Jim Larinaga. This is Billy Johnson in the contest. Forces up the 12-footer, way short.
Bowling Green just not in their pattern. They have not said anything as yet. Jim Larinaga is up calling out the plays, making sure to get them in the group, and they've got to get in the group very quickly.
Montgomery in trouble. Baseline got Zuloff, who couldn't roll it into the left hand. Still loose on the floor, and Billy Johnson came out of there and traveled with it. Give it back to Michigan State. Spartans are really going to the glass, Luke, and they're playing on the blocks. They're playing almost what is a 1-4 offensively. We've got our first timeout of the afternoon. 14:55 left in the first half of play. Don't go away. Michigan State Spartans on top of Bowling Green, 8-2. And we get back to Anderson Arena. Happier with us on Sports Channel's Saturday afternoon collegiate basketball presentation. Michigan State out quickly on top of Bowling Green, 8-2. And Luke, they're doing it without Mike Peplowski, who has not started this contest, the big 6'10" center.
Well, the big man is definitely missed inside. He can get those boards. He's a big, wide body coming in there. As you see, Michigan State very much ahead in the percentages of the shots. Bowling Green has not been able to get anything down. They have not been able to get into their offense.
Dwayne Stevens, as he tried to go baseline, picked up a little bit of help from Steve Smith, who was hooking offensively in there. Now watch Smith down there. Luke, take us through that.
Here you see the break. That's a pick and roll, but you're not allowed to pick and hold.
So the roll translated into a hold, and that cost Steve Smith his first personal foul. Bowling Green struggling, only 1 of 8 offensively. Billy Johnson, not there. And Colbert, though, muscled on the glass. Running up with the left hand, that's not there. 1 for 10 now for Bowling Green. A lid on the hoop to start it for the Falcons.
Well, they're getting their shots, and that's where they want to get their shots. So the biggest thing is just keep going after it, keep going after the shot, working themselves in the offense.
Steve Smith will connect from about 13 feet away as he came up pulling the trigger. He has 4 on the afternoon.
You got to like the way that Smith plays. He just works himself, and he works very hard at getting the basket.
And the Spartans know how to find him offensively. He is their go-to guy. He's their money man. Michael Uger, the sophomore, running the BG offense after 2 fouls quickly on point guard Clint Venable. Steve Watson put it on the floor and had it ripped away. Turnover, Bowling Green. Watch Steve Smith operate. Bowling Green's got to get it done on the defensive end because right now they are struggling offensively. Baseline, Parrish, Hickman, that's easy with the left hand as he smoothly went into the paint and got it done.
Hickman, very smooth basketball player, going inside. Nice touch inside.
Jim Larralega has seen enough for the time being. His basketball team is 6.5 minutes into this one. They are only 1 of 10 from the floor. Luke, watch the move.
Here you see the pass inside. He comes down, although I don't like to see a basketball player when he's in the paint putting the basketball on the floor. He did it very nicely. You see the look inside. He knew where his players were, his defensive players were, up with the left hand.
Parrish Hickman, 6'7", 220-pound junior for Judd Heathcote out of Bishop Borges High School in Detroit, Michigan. Bowling Green, as we said, struggling tremendously offensively, only 1 of 10 from the floor. And as of yet, Luke, they really haven't had a chance to push their 94-foot transition game. The Falcons love to get it off the glass and run it, except when you got to do that, Clint Venable has to be a major cog in it, and he got quickly shut down with those 2 quick offensive fouls.
Well, Venable is a major cog in their transition basketball game, but the key to getting that whole thing started is Joe Moore. Joe Moore has been pretty much inactive. We haven't seen or heard a lot about him because he is not getting into the boards like he should, getting the ball out to Venable and Whiteman so they can run.
Well, we've got Bart Simpson here in Northwest Ohio at Bowling Green State University. Bart's looking good, and I think probably wanting a Falcon victory this afternoon, but right now Michigan State Spartans, as we said, came in here with a purpose in mind, and that is to avenge their loss to Bowling Green last year, which occurred on the Spartans' home floor up at the Breslin Center.
That's hard when you have a new arena like that. You want to dedicate it. You want to dedicate it right, and have somebody come in and lose to any team, regardless of who they are. Bowling Green still not in their offense, still not in the groove, and this is one thing that Jim Larralega was very afraid of not getting himself into the groove quickly into this basketball game.
Couple of changes on the floor. Tommy Hall wearing number 30, just playing the basketball in. And for Bowling Green, he's a 6'5" junior out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. And Andy Pennick, just a freshman from Louisville, Kentucky, is in for Michigan State. See what Jim Larralega mapped out offensively for his Falcons. Down by 10. Michael Uger had it partially rejected by Matt Steginger. But coming out of the pack, Andy Pennick turned it over on the wall. Now, Steginger is active, Luke. He just made Michael Uger change that shot.
Well, Steginger, he comes in and he plays such an aggressive basketball game. He's all over the court. He does everything he possibly can. He's always moving. And like I said, I really like the player.
Billy Johnson along with Michael Uger in that backcourt for Bowling Green. They run with Joe Moore, Tommy Hall, and Ed Colbert. Johnson from 18 will put it down. Stride inside that triple line. He's their instant offense, man. The go-to guy off the bench, Luke. He can heat things up in a hurry.
Well, Johnson, he's a streak shooter, but he can score. And once he gets in the groove, he can put a lot of points up on the board.
There you see Indiana dusted off Louisville 72-52 in that Big Four Classic. Parrish Hickman's jumper did not fall, and Billy Johnson will come out breaking for BG. Joe Moore posts it up and down with the right hand.
Well, there's the transition basketball game that Bowling Green is looking for.
On the back end of it was 6'3" leaper Joe Moore. Keep an eye on him this afternoon. He's out of All Hallows High School in the Bronx, New York City, and he can really fly through the air. Bowling Green connecting on their last 2 field goal attempts from Billy Johnson, and Joe Moore has cut this Michigan State deficit, the Michigan State's lead down to 6. BG looking at that 6-point deficit, 12-6 Spartans.
One thing that Michigan State is a little bit intimidated by is Bowling Green pressing just like they are right now. They're pressing the ball up and down the court. They will be all over this court this afternoon.
There you get a good look at Jim Larinaga momentarily, and there, of course, the dean, the veteran Judd Heathcote of Michigan State. Pressure from BG. Steve Smith's going to break it. On the gallop. Excellent dish off. Rejected is Stevens down on that baseline. And Michael Uger gets hit with a travel call as he came out of there, wanting to run. Bowling Green now is starting to push it with the basketball coming off the glass, as you said, Luke. Watch the block here.
Here he comes.
Tommy Hall.
Good block. Big man underneath doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. The ball out, just a little bit too quick with the feet.
Very happy you're with us on Sports Channel's college basketball presentation. Steginga comes up flat with that 8-footer. And we have got an over-the-back reach-in call. It's going to go on Michigan State's Dwayne Stevens as he and Ed Colbert talk about it coming back up the floor.
Here you see the defensive player. Good flash to the basket by Steginga, although he didn't put it down. Bowling Green is the one on the board. Michigan State is going to have to tighten that rope on the offensive board and get in there.
Bowling Green can cut the Michigan State lead to 4 or possibly 3 on this trip. Michael Uger, the sophomore, pressed into duty early after 2 quick fouls on the BG leader, Clinton Venable. Uger goes low block Tommy Hall. Hall in the paint, fading away, not there. Parrish Hickman tried to start up floor, but stepped out of bounds, and look at Judd Heathcote. Judd questioning that blow of the whistle from Tommy Rucker.
Well, Judd obviously had a better position than the officials for him. The thing of it is, Michigan State wants to get things started. They want to get up the court.
With 12 minutes left, a couple seconds past that, we're going to take a pause in the action. Michigan State with a 12-6 lead over Bowling Green. We're just getting going. Stay with us. Luke, field goal percentages not where they usually are for these 2 clubs.
Neither team is doing well on the field goal shooting percentage, especially Bowling Green at 3 and 14.
Falcons on the offense right now. They are wearing their white homes, trimmed in the burnt orange and seal brown, as they call it here at Bowling Green State University. Michigan State in the green. Uger for the triple. Way off. Andy Pinnacle run the floor, the freshman for Michigan State. Had his pass stolen away, Tommy Hall. Turnover on the freshman for State. Uger, baseline, floats up a right-hander. Didn't fall. Ripped out of there by Steve Smith. Michael Uger's not bashful, is he, Luke?
No, he isn't. He's got to be a little bit more patient, though. The thing of it is, it was a good shot, good drive, but you have to make sure that there's people there to rebound for you once you take a shot like that.
Let's see if Michigan State goes down to Steve Smith on that low block. Steginga tried to dump it off, had it ripped away. Hickman got it back. Steve Smith hangs, not there. Pulled out by Eddie Colbert.
Eddie Colbert playing big under the BG boards.
Joe Moore uses the window from 12 feet away to bang down his second field goal of the afternoon. Moore's connection pulls Bowling Green to within 4, 12-8 State. Steve Smith, excellent dish inside, rejected by Tommy Hall. Was Dwayne Stevens, but Hall got him on the body. Wow, what a no-look pass from Smith to Stevens.
Excellent pass by Smith. He was looking straight on the court, saw all the way across the court. Look at this. Fantastic. The jam is good at that point.
Tommy Hall can really skywalk. He is one of the great leapers that Jim Larrañaga has in his ball club. Just a 50%er from the foul line is Dwayne Stevens. Used all of the rim to get that first one to drop.
Comes up with a big foul shot. He does shoot 57% from the field, though, in and around the basket.
Stevens completes the pair, hits both of them. Michigan State's lead is back up to 6, 14-8 as Steve Watson, the 6'9" senior out of the state of New York, checks back.
The tandem of Watson and Moore is very strong underneath. And we also see Clinton Venable back on the court with 2 fouls.
Yep, he's going to have to be careful now. Usually you say on the defensive end, but in Clint's case, he's going to have to be careful offensively, pushing it up the floor. This is Venable. For the triple. Bang. Clinton Venable came right back in. The time down didn't hurt him.
Michigan State playing a 2-3 zone. That's the quickest way to break a zone is those 3-pointers.
14-11, Michigan State's lead down to 3. Pressure, but here comes Mark Montgomery to beat it. Wanted to go baseline and had it kicked away. Tommy Hall. Keep it with Michigan State. Luke, you can see that Bowling Green really wants to run the floor for that man, Jim Larrañaga. Every time they get it off the defensive glass, he's saying, get it up, let's push it.
Well, Larrañaga has an excellent transition basketball game. They are used to taking it, hitting the corners, which the guards are supposed to be there for that pass, and then whipping it down the court with people filling the lane.
Mark Montgomery creates a move inside, didn't get the roll. Steve Watson will come out of there for Bowling Green. Tommy Hall floats to the hoop and lays it down gently.
They're filling the lane. Perfect Bowling Green basketball.
The lead is down to 1, 14-13. That basketball was off that glass and up the floor right now, Luke Whitty.
Milliseconds.
Tremendous dish from Clinton Venable. Watch it coming up here.
There you see Watson getting the ball off to Venable. He's looking. Look at him look. There it is.
And the finisher, Tommy Hall. Here's your 6'10", 270-pound junior Mike Peplowski. Didn't start because of some back problems, has checked in now for Michigan State.
It may be a while before he can get loosened up, too. When you have a back problem and you really have to keep heat on that thing. I don't know if he was sitting on the bench with heat or not. We'll see how he does.
Bowling Green on an 11-2 run. Peplowski comes off the bench and fires up, but Steginga's there to clean it up and put home the stick back.
Steginga playing very good around the hoop, about 3 or 4 foot out, making sure that basket goes down.
Matt Steginga has 6 above Michigan State 16. Venable in trouble, had it slapped away. Billy Johnson, yes. Hit his last 2, he's starting to heat up now.
Billy Johnson, nice soft left-handed shot.
16-15 as Dwayne Stevens will handle it for State. Steve Smith had to readjust and still banged it home from the free throw line.
He was going to pass that. I think that was a luck shot.
Tommy Hall goes to jam, and he got fouled as Peplowski came back. Again, Bowling Green just seriously pushes it up the floor.
Bowling Green is getting it down the court about as quickly as you possibly can. Peplowski there with the block and the foul.
Judd Heathcote looking it over as Tommy Hall is going to go to the free throw line for Bowling Green. First time the Falcons have been there this afternoon. They're down 3, 18-15 to Michigan State.
Tommy Hall can scoot, getting up and down the court about as quick as you can see. A guy 6'5", 215, going to the line. He's averaging 6.5 points a basketball game early in the season. He's called a super sub here in Bowling Green land.
He's been that for all 3 of his years here at BG. Checking in for Michigan State, you just saw him a moment ago, was Chris Wyszynski, a 6'3" freshman out of Purcellville, Virginia. Tommy Hall looks to complete the pair, looks for his 4th of the afternoon.
Well, Michigan State really likes Wyszynski and Picnic at the guards. They are dynamite shooters, both of them.
Wyszynski almost lost it. Stole it away, Hall, but he got a piece of Matt Steginga trying to rip the basketball away and start that fly to the hoop the other way.
He wanted it real bad. Here you see him anticipating the pass. A little bad ball handling there. Anticipation's good if somebody doesn't move.
That's team foul number 7 on the Bowling Green Falcons, so Matt Steginga the 6'7" junior from Grand Rapids South Christian High School, the state of Michigan, is going to go to the line for Michigan State.
He has started the last 2 years for Michigan State. Good, hard-nosed basketball player. Has a nose for the ball.
This year, Michigan State played an inter-squad game up at his high school, South Christian High, up at Grand Rapids. On the opening tip, they got him a move down the floor. He jammed, dunked, and pulled the rim down off the bracket. They had to cancel the game right then and there. It lasted 3 seconds.
Well, that's the way, when you don't want to work real hard, that's the way to do it.
Matt was a little bit embarrassed going back home like that. Stegiga hits both from the stripe. Give him 8 on the afternoon to lead Michigan State. Spartans lead is 3, 2017 over Bowling Green.
Michigan State's pulled out of the zone. They are back into a man-to-man.
Billy Johnson starts his move inside, ran up the left-hander, but before he did, he got raked across the arm and fouled. That foul is going to go on Chris Wyszynski, the 6'3" freshman out of Virginia that we just moments ago mentioned to you is in the lineup of Michigan State.
Well, like I said, they like him. He's a good jumper. He can shoot well from the outside. He's very active.
Team foul number 4 on the Spartans. Michigan State running right now with Wyszynski, along with Mark Montgomery at the guards, Max Stegiga, Mike Peplowski, and Dwayne Stevens up front. That's the 5 that wears the green and white of Judd Heathcote. 8:15 left in the first half of play. Michigan State by 3, 20-17. Clinton Venable with the basketball, trying to direct the offense. He'll fire the 3. Clinton Venable now has a total of 8 on the afternoon. He has hit his last 2 threes. We are all tied at 20. Michigan State, Bowling Green is on an 18-8 run. Stegiga went inside. Excellent dish to Chris Wyszynski, who used the window to get it down. Billy Johnson the other way. Pull and gun, no. Ripped out of there by Stegiga. Stolen right back by Bowling Green. They are battling for that basketball and give it to the Spartans.
You think this game is important? They are going all over the court for that basketball.
Oh, we might have been in Doak Perry Field outside this arena here as Michigan State and Bowling Green play 3rd and goal. Spartans by 2 when we come back.
Our projections, the Roars, when they fill this up with this metal ceiling, this place rocks and jumps.
Bowling Green was down 12-2. Since that time, they have hit Michigan State with an 18-10 run to pull back to within 2. The Michigan State lead is 22-20. Matt Stegiga, Mark Montgomery, Dwayne Stevens, Steve Smith, and Mike Peplowski on the floor for Judd Heathcote. Lob to Smith, went to put it up, and he got fouled by Steve Watson as Smith just soared and went to put it down into the hoop.
Smith breaking underneath. Good defense that time by Watson. He just got tangled up a little bit, but he was looking. He saw it coming all the way. Here you see him. Unfortunately, a foul.
Parrish Hickman checks back in. Mike Peplowski down. There you get a good look at a young man who was a consensus All-American, Steve Smith.
Steve Smith has spent this last summer really working out back home in East Lansing. He had an opportunity throughout the summer to play a lot of one-on-one at the Y with a man by the name of Johnson, that is not too shabby of a basketball player, playing out of L.A. for the Lakers.
Irvin Magic, Steve Smith knocks down both from the free throw line. As you see Central Michigan on top of the University of Detroit by 2. Eddie Colbert will swing up the left-handed hook and bottom it out.
That's the way to back in. He sets himself on the block like a big man is supposed to do. Good move in back to the paint. Left-handed hook.
First field goal of the afternoon for Colbert. 24-22, Michigan State. Mark Montgomery going to jump up the left-hander from the baseline and bury it. First 2 of the afternoon for the point guard of Michigan State, Mark Montgomery. If he can hit that jumper, Michigan State's in business offensively. Got a push on Parrish Hickman. That'll be Hickman's first. That is team foul number 5 on Michigan State.
Hickman playing very aggressive. Here you see that hand right on the middle of the back, just enough to push Colbert outside and mess up the play, and of course draw the foul also.
You big men inside, you don't like to be pushed off your spot, do you?
Well, the thing of it is, Colbert had to jump for the basketball. You don't want to jump for the basketball. When you call for the ball, which means a hand signal up, the guard or who's ever passing the ball in should hit you right in the hand so you don't have to jump and you don't lose that position.
Right. Clint Venable, Steve Watson, Joe Moore, Kirk Whiteman, and Ed Colbert. The five that started it for Bowling Green. Whiteman thought about the three. Oh, had it stolen away by Steginga, and we have got an offensive foul on Steginga as he started to go up the floor, and I'm telling you, Judd Heathcote is giving it to Tommy Rucker.
Here you see Whiteman making the penetration. Steginga grabs the ball. Venable just stands there. Bam! Lamb chops and a little Hollywood help out.
Look at Judd. If you can read lips, he just told Tommy Rucker that is a terrible call. Nonetheless, Bowling Green's got the basketball, trying to cut this lead down to a deuce.
Michigan State playing very good defense there, pushing them outside. You can see Bowling Green playing outside a lot further than they normally would like to play because of the defense.
Watson goes at Colbert at the low block, and he got grabbed across the arm as he made his move to the hoop. That foul will go on Parrish Hickman. Now, they may have got Mark Montgomery before. We'll check. Yes, it is Mark Montgomery. That is his first.
Hickman losing about 2 to 3 inches guarding Colbert inside, but more importantly, about 20 to 30 pounds.
There you get a good look at Mark Montgomery raking at Colbert across the arm, and is going to send Colbert, the 6'10" senior center out of Macomber High School in the nearby city of Toledo, to the line. Average at 6 a game, but got to work on that free throw percentage, as you see. And he can't get that first one. Michigan State keeps their 4-point lead, 26-22. We're at the 6-minute mark in the first half. Smith, long-range pistol for three, didn't fall. On the run, Bowling Green. Baseline, Whiteman. Now we'll jump it up. Didn't stay down. Montgomery on the run the other way for Michigan State. Montgomery thought about the three. Bowling Green now settled back in that 2-3 zone. Montgomery now loads up the three with the left hand. No. Hickman had it ripped away. Here comes Venable on the breakout. Great pass, Joe Moore.
Venable putting every move he has in, coming down the right-hand side of the court. Good look inside.
Outstanding dish from Clint Venable to Joe Moore, who finished it off. Joe Moore has 6 on the afternoon. 26-24 Michigan State. Smith triple team. They're giving Montgomery that three if he wants it. Spinning jumper Steve Smith off that back heel. Ripped out of there. Venable got in trouble and then had to kick it back to Kirk Whiteman. Low block Eddie Colbert. Wants to operate. Swings it up with the left hand, not there. Bowling Green's chance to tie goes a glimmer. Parrish Hickman, baseline. Stevens, back iron, no.
That's too far out for Stevens. He has to play inside for his ball.
Venable for the three, nothing but nylon. Stuck it down, he has 11. And Bowling Green has their first lead of the afternoon. 27-26 as Clint Venable has caught fire.
And that lets Anderson Arena go crazy at this moment.
Bowling Green coming off that start which saw them produce just one field goal in their first 10 attempts and be in a 12-2 hole, Luke Whitty, and it's been all Bowling Green ever since.
Like we said at the top of the show, Mike, it is going to be a barn burner, and there's no question about it.
Pennick for the three. Over that iron, no. Offensive rebound pulled down by Dwayne Stevens, and Michigan State will reset. 27-26 Bowling Green just achieved their first lead of the afternoon. Steginga works inside. Floated it up, no. He'll clean it up his own miss, no. Hanging on that iron was Parrish Hickman over the back of Ed Colbert. He will get hit with the personal foul.
Hickman definitely going over the back. Steginga playing excellent basketball in and around the hoop, looking for his missed shot. Here he goes back up with his first one. Missed it, kept it alive. Steginga again gets his shot up, No-go, Hickman over in the back.
That's going to send 6'10" senior center Ed Colbert to that free throw strike.
He just lost on his 20%.
He's going to have to work on that, as we said, if he wants to build that up. Eddie's 0 for 1 from the line this afternoon. Bowling Green by 1. Colbert can build on it.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Ed Colbert will get that back end now. Bowling Green comes into this contest averaging 100 points a game. Michael Huger checking back in for Clinton Venable. Venable takes his 11 points to Jim Larenega's bench. And remember, 2 personal fouls. I think Jim's protected him, Luke.
No question about it. We have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the half. They want to protect him as best they can. They'll need him all the way down the stretch.
Eddie Colbert's double free throw connections has given Bowling Green a 29-26 lead. Anderson Arena is rocking and rolling here in Bowling Green. Don't you go away. For basketball game, they love the breakout, Luke Whitty, the transition game. Take us through it.
Here you see the ball coming off, a steal by Venable, going to the right side of this court. Now you'll see him start filling the lanes. You don't see it here, but there you go. The lanes filled in for 2, Joe Moore.
Clinton Venable and Joe Moore work the run together so extremely well. 29-26, Bowling Green has clawed their way back into a 3-point lead. Matt Steginga working in that backcourt with Andy Pennick. Pennick almost threw it away at the baseline. Finally ran down by Dwayne Stevens. Trap pressure. Offensive foul.
Good defense. Putting themselves right on that streak. Putting himself right on the block. Playing excellent defense.
Third personal foul on Parrish Hickman. Judd Heathcote slowly arises from his bench, looks at assistant coach Stan Joplin and says, come up with something for me, fellas.
Well, Parrish Hickman is going to be a loss because he is so strong and aggressive on the boards. Started 12 games last year. Mr. Basketball in Michigan in 1988.
Mark Montgomery is going to check back in, a point guard. Now, they're giving up a lot of size here. Parrish Hickman goes out at 6'7". Montgomery checks back in at 6 foot.
Michigan State keeps going. As the game is going on, they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and that is not to their advantage.
Sophomore Michael Huger, a 40% charity shooter on the line. Huger's earned 1 more. Jim Larenega really likes his sophomore. As we said, Jim Larenega, a New York City man himself, born and raised there, played his high school basketball there. And he's gotten Joe Moore and now this young man, Michael Huger, to come to Bowling Green out of New York City.
Michael Huger is definitely instant offense because he puts points on the board as soon as he steps on the court.
Largest Bowling Green lead of the afternoon. It's been built to 5 as Steve Smith works it. Floats up the 12-footer. Excellent tip up and down by Dwayne Stevens.
Stevens coming from the baseline, up in, good tap.
Billy Johnson looks to answer for Bowling Green. Watson will float it up and fill it up, running the paint.
Joe Moore, good rebound and looking for Watson, sees him breaking down the lane and gets it to him.
33-28, now we picked up the pace at Anderson Arena. Steginga, pull-up gun from 15. Ran over the iron and ripped out of there by Steve Watson as Bowling Green now will slow it a bit. But not much. They don't ever slow it totally.
Not totally. They're coming in. They're setting up now. The lead themselves in the offense.
The lead is 5. 33-28. Bailey Johnson, back rim, no. Steginga yanks off the rebound for Michigan State. Spartans now trying to cut into their deficit. Shaking and baking for Montgomery. Almost lost it. Steginga tried to muscle it up near the hoop and got hit by Eddie Colbert.
Steginga working himself down. He had about a 4-on-1 situation, but still managed to do the things he can do. Colbert just have to stand there. When you're a big man inside, you just stand there. You don't grab.
Yeah, because you're not going to find anywhere to hide, are you, Luke? You're pretty conspicuous at 6'10" in there.
Pretty conspicuous.
You look at it, Juan Street, wearing number 41. He is a 6'6" senior, high school teammate of Billy Johnson up near the Detroit area in Romulus, Michigan. Matt Steginga hits the first of his 2.
The key is here when Bowling Green starts substituting people, they're not losing anything. They just keep coming at you. They play 10 deep. And Mike with Michigan State is going to stay in this basketball game. They've got to get their starters in there and play them healthy and strong.
Steginga splits the pair. The lead is 4, 33-29, Bowling Green. Michael Uger had it stripped away by Pennick on the 3-on-1 breakout. Steve Smith, he had it stripped away and knocked out of bounds. Michael Uger came back to apply the defense as Smith started his soar toward the rim.
Uger, good hustle coming back. He gets back in the block about as quick as anything. Here you see Watson taking the good position right where he's supposed to be. Uger coming from the backside, stripping the ball.
Judd Heathcote, the mastermind of this Michigan State basketball program. Montgomery wanted Smith on the low block that Bowling Green denied. 2 minutes left of the first half of play. Bowling Green's lead is 4, 33-29. Smith at that foul line, working Joe Moore. Tremendous move off the window and down. Steve Smith, that's an All-American move.
He wants the basketball and he can produce points.
Has 10 on the afternoon, 33-31. In the paint, Juan Street floats home the 7-footer.
Good move in the continuity offense by Juan Street, coming across the lane, looking for the basketball. Good penetration, turnaround jump shot.
Miami has beaten Cincinnati 72-64, so Joby Wright's Redskins with a big win. Steve Smith, is he finding the range? He buries a 14-foot jumper, has a dozen. John Zuloff with the steal the other way as Bowling Green tried to push it.
Zuloff playing good heads-up basketball. When you're playing transition defense, you have to turn around and see where that basketball is. Zuloff, excellent job looking back up the court.
Michigan State posting up their offensive machine, Steve Smith, on that high block the last 2 times down, and he has produced.
Bowling Green's going to have to deny the basketball to him if they want to keep him from scoring points.
Juan Street could not connect on that tough power layup. Didn't fall. Mark Montgomery will push it back for Michigan State. Spartans can tie on this trip or possibly take the lead with a 3-point bomb. Smith in the paint. That's money. That is flat-out money when he's got it in there.
Larinaga just jumped up off the bench. He knows that they're going to have to do something that's a basic, fundamental part of Michigan State's basketball game and their game plan. They've got to keep Smith off if Bowling Green expects to be the winners this evening.
3 straight Steve Smith hoops. Joe Moore goes baseline, got bumped on the way up by John Zuloff. That'll put Joe Moore on the free throw line for Bowling Green. Well, Steve Smith is connected 3 straight times down as we take a look at Moore's drive.
Here you see Moore coming in, doing what he's supposed to do. When you're in a contact situation like that, you put the basketball up no matter what. Good drop step, good big first step. Zuloff with a foul.
Joe Moore leading this Bowling Green basketball team and scoring at 23 points per game for that man right there, Jim Larinaga. He's looking for points number 7 and 8 this afternoon. Moore just 50% from the line. He enhances that a little bit with that first one dropping.
Going back to Smith on the foul line, offensively, he can be so devastating by just getting his hand in the ball because he can get the ball to other people besides being a scoring machine.
Very unselfish basketball player. 37-35, Bowling Green by 2 over Michigan State. Shot clock is off. The Spartans can use it all if they like. Billy Johnson just held Steve Smith as he was trying to cross the paint. Luke, interesting, last time down, Steve Smith had a wide-open 6-foot jumper in the middle of that orange paint. This time, Billy Johnson was aware of where he was.
Well, I think Billy Johnson definitely got the word from Tim Larinaga, said, don't let him cross the lane. That time, unfortunately, nabbed for the foul.
Well, Steve Smith goes to the line. He has 14 on the afternoon, and he started to heat it up, as we told you about in the last 3 trips down for Michigan State.
A lot of people looking at Steve Smith, and I'm basically speaking about professional scouts. They're coming in and watching this ball player. He's got a lot of moves. One thing that I do hear is he's a little bit weak, and I don't mean but weak by any kind of means, because he is a very strong basketball player. Playing professional basketball, he's going to have to be a little bit more physical.
Smith now has 16 as he connects twice from that free throw line. Bowling Green has the last shot in this half, if they want it, as you see that shot clock and game clock in set on the right lower portion of your screen. Tied at 37. Michael Uger backs out of there. Bowling Green will start it now. Uger for the 3. Yes! So Michael Uger sends Bowling Green Flying Falcons into their locker room at halftime with a 40-37 lead on the Spartans of Michigan State. Outstanding 20 minutes of basketball. We'll get this halftime rolling with you from Anderson Arena when we return.
Mid-American Conference football fans, prepare for the California Raisins.
Here in the campus of Bowling Green State University, if you have missed the first half, get yourself a chair and do not go away. Fifth-ranked Spartans of Michigan State from the Big Ten getting all they want and a little bit more. And Jim Larrañaga and his Bowling Green Falcons. 40-37, Bowling Green on top at halftime. Michael Uger hits a three-pointer to send BG out of here with the lead. But Luke Whitty, Bowling Green really clawed their way back into it after what was an extremely cold start when they first hit just one of their first 10 field goal attempts.
Well, the biggest thing, Bowling Green came out, they were very cold the first 8 minutes. Venable gets into foul trouble right off the block, and they have trouble with him being in. They could not readjust quick enough to get themselves back into the flow of it. Once they started getting Joe Moore running a little bit and Tommy Hall, things started generating for them, and they got right back into it.
As we talked about, the Falcons average 100 points per game in their 2 wins so far over Heidelberg and Akron. Michigan State wanted to quell that a little bit, Luke. Obviously, they wanted to temper Bowling Green's ability to run. Have they done an effective job of that in your mind?
Well, I think they've done a fairly effective job at it. The problem is they don't have their big man. Pulaski, he's not playing in the middle. He's out with a back injury, so they're playing small. So they're not doing the things that they really want to do when they started out in their game plan.
Steve Smith, Matt Stegenga expected to handle the bulk of Michigan State's offensive chores. They've done that. Smith, you're seeing why he's an All-American performer. He's a lights-out scorer. Not what you'd call a tremendous shooter, but a scorer. He could create and make things happen. 16 big points in that first half, and he gets them in bunches, Luke.
Well, the biggest thing that we have seen is that Steve Smith is taking the ball right at the foul line, and when he's in his offensive pattern, he gets that ball at the foul line. He is such a threat because he can dish off, and he's a very unselfish basketball player, and he can light it up, and he can produce a lot of points, as we have seen the first half.
He showed this entire nation that in the NCAA tournament last year when he just went wild in a couple of basketball games. 40-37, Bowling Green on top. It's halftime. We say we take a look at the academic specter of both of these fine institutions as we take a look at the institutionals from both Michigan State and Bowling Green. Very pleased to have with me the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, Mr. Carl Benson. Carl, what a great atmosphere. What a great amount of enthusiasm for a Mid-American Conference home game against one of the top teams in the nation in Michigan State. Couldn't ask for any more.
Great way to open the basketball season, Michael.
When we look at the Mid-American Conference basketball this year, Carl, you had the pleasure to be down the Cincinnati Gardens on Wednesday night, defending MAC champion Ball State, Sweet 16 team Ball State. Did a number on Xavier right away. I don't think there's any drop-off in the Cardinal program.
It doesn't look like it, Mike. They played a great ball game. It's a great win for the conference, and today's a good game for the conference as well. As we all know, MAC basketball has come a long ways, and we're expecting great things in 1990-91. Follow up after a great year last year.
Carl, I know you're a great proponent of the Bowling Greens, the Ball States, playing the top-ranked teams in the nation. Why not play them? The thing is getting them to commit to come to home floors of the MAC occasionally.
Well, this is one of the first, and I think that after the first half of play here, Michigan State may not want to come back.
That's right. No question. When you look at this entire MAC basketball season, of course, the media, they don't know too much anyway, but they picked Bowling Green and Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan. How do you see it? Do you think it's going to be that evenly spread out and that balance in this conference this year?
I think that Ball State may not have dropped off as much as some people indicated. They played a great game the other night, and they've got some awfully fine players, and I think Bowling Green is as good as everybody said they were.
I don't think this conference has to take a back seat to anyone in the game of basketball. Carl Benson's ready to get on a plane tomorrow to head out to Fresno, California. California Raisin Bowl, which involves the Mid-American Conference co-champion of Central Michigan against San Jose State. That's a great offense San Jose State has. Herb Duramity's defense will be tested.
Well, we today right here on Sports Channel America, Michael, with Central Michigan and San Jose State, and once again another opportunity for the Mid-American Conference to get some national exposure.
No question about that. Carl, what do we see down the line? Of course, we've got the Mid-American Conference. You talk about national exposure. Basketball tournament, back to the round ball game. Cobo Arena in Detroit, great media setting, great mecca for college basketball for this conference.
We think that the MAC basketball tournament at Cobo Arena in Detroit is a great setting. Good opportunity once again for MAC basketball to receive national exposure that it deserves. And we're going back for the second year, and we hope to be better, and we'll go back from year and year.
No question about that. Carl Benson, the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference. Always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay. Carl Benson, commissioner of the MAC. 40-37, Bowling Green on top of Michigan State. It is halftime. Don't you go away. We've got an outstanding 20 minutes, maybe more, of basketball still to come. In Anderson Arena, they're talking Falcon basketball. Right now, they're on the money. The Bowling Green Falcons with a 3-point lead on Michigan State at the break. Michael Regai along with Luke Whitty, where we are indeed at halftime. Luke, a little bit of foul trouble for Michigan State as Parrish Hickman picked up that third personal foul, and Clinton Venable never got foul number 3 for Bowling Green, which is something that Jim Larinaga has to be pleased about after he had to sit him down with only 3 minutes into the game.
Well, that was very critical, getting Venable that second foul very early. He sat down at 16:27 left in the first half. Too early for Larinaga's concern.
All right, let's we take a look at the first half action with some pictures involved here. We'll take a look at Michigan State as they broke out to that 12-2 lead, and Mark Montgomery, Luke, was running the floor.
Here, Montgomery coming to the middle. He's looking for the keys. He's looking for the open. Good, no look. Stingiga, jammer.
Matt Stegiga with 11 points in that first half for the Spartans of Michigan State.
Now Smith there with a no look. Here we see a block, big block by Hall.
Bowling Green started to get it done on the defensive end, which of course helped that transition game and their ability to run the floor. But Clinton Venable getting back in the action and quickly firing up 11 points, hitting 3 triple tries, certainly spurred that big run that Bowling Green made to take the lead.
The big run, though, coming, though, when you see the transition basketball game coming for Bowling Green. Here we see the stats. Shooting percentage is not real good for either ball club. 40% and 42%. But boy, I tell you what, they've got to start putting the ball in the hoop. Both teams, 16 points for Steve Smith.
Matt Stegiga with 9, Dwayne Stevens with 6 to lead Judd Heathcote's Michigan State Spartans, 5th ranked in the nation coming in here off that loss. Clinton Venable with 11, 9 of those on 3 3-point connections. Joe Moore with 8, and the sophomore Michael Huger with 5 lead Bowling Green. Can Bowling Green sustain it for another 20 minutes? We're going to find out as both ball clubs have talked to their respective benches, and we're getting set to get this second half ready to roll, Luke.
2 big things that we have to look at. First of all, for Bowling Green, positive on their point is they got 10 ball players. They can go very deep on their bench. Michigan State has a little bit of problem with that. But then again, Michigan State has Steve Smith.
And he really started to light this joint up at the end of the first half as he connected 3 straight trips down the floor for Michigan State. Bowling Green by 4, they'll play the basketball in. Same starting 5 for both ball clubs on the floor. Ed Colbert had the 14-footer but didn't take it. Watson outside the triple arc. Running with Joe Moore on that forward line for Bowling Green. Clint Venable and Kirk Whiteman in the backcourt and Colbert in the middle. Clinton Venable trying to get motion out of the offense for Bowling Green. Low block, Eddie Colbert. Venable. Joe Moore lays it down off the baseline. Great ball movement.
Good patience by the Falcons. They worked the ball around, waited for the opportunity, waited for the open man, waited for the good shot.
42-37. Joe Moore has 10 in the afternoon. Montgomery, great burst of speed. Joe Moore just slapped it right back in the face of Parrish Hickman.
Joe Moore, you got to like the guy. He can just sky, and he gets up there, Sky King all the way.
Big-time player. Plays much bigger than 6'3".
Here you see him coming up. All ball.
Steve Smith to the baseline. Stripped away by little Kirk Whiteman. On the alley-oop lob to Moore, who rams it down with the right hand. Wow, did he go up in the air.
Joe Moore doing it all. Excellent look by Whiteman. Saw it coming all the way.
Tremendous elevation from Joe Moore. Montgomery sends the triple. Not there. Michigan State now must battle the crowd also. Watson baseline. In the middle, Moore. Loose on the floor. Whiteman will come out of there with it. Bowling Green by 7. Colbert went up in the air and came down with it. He's going to get hit with a travel violation.
Well, that's kind of a debatable call because he had the ball slapped out of his hands. You don't know if it's up or down or if it's really a slap ball. So referee called it, Michigan State ball.
Taking a look at Andy Pennick, the freshman out of Louisville, Kentucky, checking back in. He will replace Mark Montgomery running the offense for Judd Heathcote.
Shows a lot of faith in Pennick, the freshman.
Absolutely. Stegiga, along with Steve Smith and Parrish Hickman, working down low. Pennick outside, along with Dwayne Stevens. Smith in the paint, triple team. Stevens wide open 12-footer. If they don't hit that, Michigan State's in trouble.
They're in big trouble. Falcons have 3 people around the rim ready for the rebound.
Venable doesn't get the 3. Culver will put the stick back home.
The wide body keeping close to the hoop. Back up and in for 2.
Judd Heathcote Spartans down by 9 as this Anderson Arena is in an absolute uproar.
Heathcote wants a timeout in the worst way. They're not looking at him. He wants the team.
He now has it. Bowling Green on a 6-0 run, punctuated by a tremendous jam from Joe Moore. We will pause for this local break. Judd Heathcote's talking about it with the Spartans. They're down by 9. Mighty Falcon here at Bowling Green's Anderson Arena, counting Michael Uger's 3 to end the first half. BGN a 9-0 run. Look at Joe Moore, Luke Whitty.
Look at the sky. Excellent ball control. And you got to give credit to Whiteman coming down the side, looking up the court, and seeing him for the alley-oop. Perfect pass.
Never thought he'd get that high. Let's see what Michigan State talked about. Stegiga had to readjust. Bowling Green playing that sticky defense right now. Let's see if the basketball goes in the hands of the money player, Steve Smith. They've got him on the low block. John Zuloff being hounded.
Bowling Green's readjusting with 2 people down, making sure that Smith does not get that basketball.
Stegiga will push it. Zuloff almost lost it. The shot clock is expired. They did not get it off at 45 seconds. The defensive pressure from Bowling Green, outstanding.
When was the last time a Michigan State team had that happen to them? That's got to be a while, Mike.
The noise in here is deafening, and the defensive pressure from Bowling Green just as sound. Charlie Coles in Central Michigan with a win over Detroit today.
The thing of it is, the basketball team has got to know that the clock is going down. They've got to be aware and readjust. Watson playing, big man inside, no socks at all.
Everything's happening right for Bowling Green. He simply flung it up at the hoop as he was on his way down and got it to drop. 4th point of the afternoon for Steve Watson. Bowling Green's lead is 11. Michigan State in trouble. In a lot of disarray right now. Very sloppy. Smith will barge to the hoop and got fouled on the way in. Foul's going to go on Steve Watson. Steve Smith knew he had to make something happen with it.
Well, when you have a money basketball player like Steve Smith, you've got to get the ball into his hands. He knows what to do with it. He knew what he had to do. He had to drive. He had to go to the hoop as best he possibly can. He wanted 2 here. You see him going real strong. He wanted 2 and on the line.
And Steve Watson says, whoa, why? Had my hands straight up, never moved.
But a second too late getting there.
First one from the charity stripe will not fall for the All-American who averages 25 a game, Steve Smith. Jim Larinaga and his Bowling Green basketball Falcons may be on the verge of something very, very big this 90-91 season. Smith has 17 as he hits the back end of his 2-shot free throw attempt. Whiteman for 3. Not there. John Zuloff will yank it down for Michigan State. Spartans look to push it with Steve Smith. Smitty will pull up and gun and fill it up. On the run, 12-foot jumper right there.
Like I said at halftime, Bowling Green's got it deep. Michigan State's got Smith.
48-40. Bowling Green's lead is 8. Steve Smith has 19. Joe Moore looking at Steve Watson on that block. Venable thought about the 3. Now jumps over Pennick. Not there. And Colbert will battle it on the glass. John Zuloff yanks it out for Michigan State. Stolen away, Joe Moore. Venable, the home run ball. Got the roll for 3.
That's no roll, Mike. That's Johnson up and in. That thing went about 10 feet above the rim.
Venable has 14. Stekiga in the middle. Pennick for three. Joe Moore high on the glass for Bowling Green. And drew the foul from Matt Stekiga.
Stekiga again going nose for the basketball. The ball comes off the rim. They're going for it. Look at the Hacks.
Billy Johnson, 6'3" senior out of Romulus, Michigan, back in. Bowling Green with the basketball and an 11-point lead. 15-17 left in it. The Falcons have hit Michigan State with an 11-3 burst to start the second half of play.
Judd Heathcote having his worst nightmare come true right now.
Clinton Venable, the maestro of this Bowling Green offense, working it on Andy Pennick across that timeline. 14-3 run, Bowling Green. Watson, 23 feet away from the hoop. Venable for three. Came up flat. On a whistle inside, Tommy Rucker's got Billy Johnson down on that baseline for the personal foul, trying to clear out of there. That's number 3 on BJ.
Billy Johnson, here you see him trying to get himself good positioning, doing it with a little hook. You can see his right hand right on the side.
He wanted to post up young freshman Chris Weschinsky, but got caught by referee Tommy Rucker. Smith for the triple. Air ball. Venable on the run the other way. Bounce pass inside. Tommy Moore went off his hands and out of bounds. Turnover, Bowling Green.
When you get up like this, the worst thing you can do is start going helter-skelter. Jim Larinaga very much aware of that. He wants Bowling Green to settle down, start doing the things that they do well.
Steve Smith going to jump it up, had it rejected by Tommy Hall. Wow, did Tommy Hall get up and tell Steve Smith, not this time, big fella.
There you see Smith coming into the middle. The foul line. Good, clean block, but everybody goes to the floor. Good camera work.
Outstanding work from our Sports Channel camera crew here at Anderson Arena. Andy Pennick up top. Zuloff in the left hand will ring it up. John Zuloff, his first 2 of the afternoon. That's a big hoop. Gets Michigan State back underneath that double-digit deficit. They're now down 9, 51-42.
Michigan State playing the man-to-man, working through all the picks. Here you see them working through it. They're making sure that they stay with their man all the way.
Bowling Green with a 9-point lead inside. Joe Moore floats up the right-hander and got the roll. Everything's dropping right now for Bowling Green.
That's a nice part about playing at home. You know the rolls, you know the angles, and they'll all drop.
Joe Moore has 14. Leading the Falcons scoring parade. He and Clint Venable. Baseline Zuloff. Did he push off on Watson? Yes, he did. John Zuloff pushed off on Steve Watson. And then we've got a little bit of a verbal barrage between Zuloff and Watson.
You know, the thing of it is, the officials almost automatically call. I did not see the push-off, but the thing of it is, you see it just too open. You know, when you see a guy that far open, you got to think, what really happened here? And the official, even though he may not have seen it, I'm not saying there because there was a push-off there, but the officials will look for that.
Michael Uger, the sophomore, with the basketball, check back in for Bowling Green. They're working on an 11-point lead and have that precious basketball in their possession. Billy Johnson just beat the 5-second call. Michigan State picking up the Falcons man-to-man. Joe Moore, low block. Spun it up low. Look at Tommy Hall, sky. They keep it alive. Hall can jump out of the gym. Hall, baseline. Didn't want it over Steve Smith. Uger will. Had it partially rejected. Hall keeps it alive. Yep. Tommy Hall on the spinning, fading jumpers in the face of Steve Smith. Got it down and drew the foul. Watch it.
Here you see the pass coming, or I'm sorry, off the rim. Not off the rim, the air ball. Good turnaround. Smith was not happy about the foul whatsoever.
That's the 3rd personal foul on Steve Smith. Look at the strength of Tommy Hall. powers it down and will go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
Good call by the official.
Tommy Hall can bump up this Bowling Green lead to 14. 56-42.
The thing that you got to be asking, what can Michigan State do? What do they need to do? The biggest problem that they have right now is underneath. They've got to get the ball inside, get for the good percentage shots. You can't have even a big-time player like Steve Smith out there shooting 25, 30 footers. You've got to get the ball, you got to penetrate. And here you see a lot of penetration.
Smith in the paint, he'll put it off the window, get it down, and draw the foul. Right back from Tommy Hall. Smith says, touche, I'm coming back at you.
Well, that's just what I was talking about, the penetration. The other thing, Peplowski, really miss him. If they're going to have injuries all season long with him, he is definitely injury prone. Out this afternoon with a bad back. Started the game in the warm-ups by laying on a medical couch with a heat pad on his back. They're missing him because they need his strength. They need his wide body inside.
Steve Smith completes a three-point play from the charity line. He's got 22 on the afternoon, leading Michigan State almost at his average. They've got a hand check foul on Mark Montgomery. Too much pressure on Michael Huber.
Montgomery, the steal king. He can steal and pick a pocket just as quick as anybody.
Quick look at the two opposite numbers on the brain trust side here. Judd Heathcote, Jim Larinaga. Steve Watson to play it in for Bowling Green, carrying their 11-point lead. Tommy Hall floats to the middle, put it down, but no, wipe it away. Offensive foul, Tommy Hall. He barged over Matt Steginga, and that's number 4 on Hall.
Steginga taking up excellent position. Here's the old give and go. Watson seeing, coming right back in. Good position. Hall was right.
They'll get Eddie Colbert back up for Bowling Green to replace Tommy Hall, who sits down with his 4 fouls on the bench of Jim Larinaga. There's a good look at Ed Colbert, the 6'9" senior center. 56-45. Michigan State down 11. Montgomery got drilled from behind by Colbert. Well, Jim Larinaga jumped up right off his bench and wants a timeout. Did not like that set defensively.
The thing of it is, Ed Colbert was out guarding people at the guard level. He needs to be underneath. No reason for him to be out there.
There you see the personal foul on Colbert as he ran into Mark Montgomery. Judd Heathcote has to regroup things a little bit offensively with Tommy Izzo and Stan Joplin on that Michigan State bench. We'll see what the Spartans can do with their 11-point deficit. We get you back to Anderson Arena, Bowling Green, Ohio. State 56-45. Scoring comparison, that key guard matchup with Whitting.
Steve Smith coming in with 22 points. He's really having to carry the bulk of the load this afternoon. Venable with 14, but Venable is dishing off and playing a key role up and down the court, both ends and the transition game.
And has hit 4 3-point bombs to really hurt the Spartans. Well, Luke, something's happening here. We're going to see the court for the first time this afternoon.
Well, people started sitting down. They probably got tired after 40 minutes.
For the first time this afternoon, this crowd of 5,000 plus by us is sat down here at Bowling Green. Basketball loose all over the floor, bodies diving everywhere, and Joe Moore comes out with it for BG. Mark Montgomery hit a pair of free throws to close the lead back down to 9. 56-47, Bowling Green on top by 9. 12 minutes left in it here in the second half. Is there an upset in the making at Anderson Arena?
People can feel it. They sense it. They're ready for it. They're anticipating, but now they're getting a little anxious.
Steve Watson on the floating 14-footer that found the range. He has 6 on the afternoon. Joe Moore on a steal. Start Michael Huger the other way. Watson water ball. Run it up with the right hand, no. Watson will clean it up, yes.
Bowling Green doing an excellent job. Second shot, second play, going after the hoop.
Chris Wasinski comes right back to 6'3" freshman for Michigan State to answer. Up and down, 94 feet in transition right now. Watson's got the hot hand on the low block. Excellent dish. Billy Johnson will finger roll it home. You can count it with a foul.
Steve Watson, very patient, getting the basketball down on the block. Billy Johnson says, hey, I can make a cut here. Nice little pass. Look at this. Boom. In for 2 and on the line.
That's a sweet finger roll. He felt the heat, got it up to the hoop, and got the favorable roll, did Billy Johnson.
You have these guys, Watson just coming on the team last year, but these guys have started to gel. They've been playing together. They can sense they're starting to mesh as a real solid unit. This is the second phase of Jim Larenega's two-phase process. He's doing it just like it's written in the book.
He came in here and had this great recruiting class of seniors. They are now seniors, of course. 4 years ago, the Joe Moores and the Eddie Colberts, Billy Johnsons, paying big, big dividends. Parrish Hickman softly with the left hand and got the roll. 63-51, Bowling Green by 12. Huger trying to snake his way to the hoop and drew contact on the way in.
You can tell why Larenega likes Huger. Here you see it. Look at that move. Coming down there, seeing people open, even with hands all over him, he saw people open.
Andy Pennick not quick enough to stay with Michael Huger.
No
Very
way.
obvious there.
No way.
Bowling Green by a dozen, 63-51, and playing it in right in front of their boss, Jim Larenega. Michael Huger and Billy Johnson in that backcourt right now for the white-clad Falcons. Johnson had it slapped away. Loose on the floor. We're going to get the jump ball situation. The possession arrow says Michigan State. So give it to Judd Heathcote Spartans.
If you watch the last 2 minutes, you're going to have to see that they're going to have to take a timeout and wipe all the skin off the floor. These guys are diving for the ball.
They're leaving it all right here on the hardwood, aren't they? Joe Moore talking with Glenn Mayberg about this confrontation with John Zuloff. Watch it.
It's hard to tell what happened. When you're playing without pads, that could be a problem.
Well, they say this is not a contact sport. Right. It's a collision sport.
Look at my face.
63-51, Bowling Green by 12 as Steve Smith tries to come to work. Pennick thought about the three and then took it baseline, but Ed Colbert denied his dish off.
Good body defense by Colbert in there, taking up all the lane. That's what a defensive big man is supposed to do.
Derek Kaiser, verse number 33 in the basketball game right now for Bowling Green. Billy Johnson thinking about it over Wyshynski. This is Ed Colbert. Do it by Kaiser and Michael Huger will keep the offense alive for BG. Just running it up to the hoop. Ill-advised shot from Michael Huger. Here comes Steve Smith across that timeline, Michigan State. Got to get the ball in that man's hand, Steve Smith. He's on the low block now as Hickman tries to operate. Smith for the three. Off the back iron, and Watson will clean it up for BG. Huger quickly on the push. Great pass, Billy Johnson. No-look dish from Michael Huger to Billy Johnson results in the deuce for Bowling Green.
Huger again showing that he can see the whole court. Excellent court awareness by the young man.
Billy Johnson has 5, and you see the lead for Bowling Green has been bumped up to 14 big ones, their biggest of the afternoon. Judd Heathcote has to have some answers right now when we get back to Anderson Arena.
Mike are right in the thick of it here.
We talked about an orange and brown frenzy of 5,000 plus, and we've got that and a little bit more. Michigan State had to talk about it. They're down 14. Let's see what they come up with. Steve Smith almost lost it, and then did he travel or get fouled? The call is going to go on Derek Kaiser.
Derek playing a little bit overly aggressively. The thing of it is, Steve Smith, here you see him, he's just trying to do as much as he possibly can. Kaiser comes out, a little bit of hack once or two. They may have been able to call 2 or 3 fouls on that one.
One was all that was necessary, and they did call that. Look at Judd Heathcote, rather pensive, a little bit concerned with the goings-on here in Northwest Ohio.
See Tom Izzo jumping up, making sure that his point is well taken care of.
Tom Izzo in his 8th year now as Judd Heathcote's right-hand man at Michigan State. Jim Larenega talking to his troops about playing defense a little bit better than Derek Kaiser did just then.
Well, the thing of it is, you can see Larenega going both hands up. The last thing you want to do is start reaching and grabbing in the game at this point in time. You're 14 points up. You don't need to reach and grab. You should play defense down with both hands up.
Steve Smith to that free throw line to our left. Make him 7 of 8 from the stripe now. the All-American candidate with 23, closing in on his average, which is 25.5 through 2 basketball games. You're going to see a lot of him during the course of this 90-91 season. He will split the pair. 65-52, Bowling Green by 13. With the basketball as we approach the 9-minute mark left here at Anderson Arena. Colbert, good move inside. Hung had to readjust. Watson cleans up, no, and then went over the back of Matt Steginga.
Watson, front end was excellent, back end really bad. You should not have a situation. Of course, Colbert, I think, should have rammed it home here. You gotta go for it.
Maybe the one thing Ed Colbert does need is to go stronger to the hoop. As you said, be able to hammer it down in that situation.
See, in that situation, Colbert should have just gone right at it. Don't care. You shouldn't even look at who's in front of you. Just go for it. He's big enough. He's strong enough to take care of himself. When you get in that position, you just have to go for it.
6'3", certainly all MAC candidate Joe Moore is back in along with Juan Street. Derek Kaiser sitting down along with Steve Watson as Jim Larinaga continues to run in bodies, and there is no fall off in talent when he does it.
No fall off in talent, and he's keeping people on the court that are fresh. Michigan State has got to be getting tired, especially this man, Steginga, has been all over the court. He keeps his nose on the ball all the time. He's been in the thick of things underneath the basketball hoop. And if you notice, every time there's been a free ball on the court, Steginga has been there scraping.
He's that kind of player. Outstanding work ethic for this young man. He's looking for his 11th point of the afternoon from the line. Steginga has 11. Michigan State has cut it back to 11, 65-54. Clint Venable, Billy Johnson, Juan Street, Ed Colbert, Joe Moore for Bowling Green. Venable choked off, had to kick it back up top. Bowling Green running that offense, looking for the shot they want. Juan Street in trouble. Billy Johnson twisting, had it stripped away. Street trying to barge in and hit the 10-foot fadeaway. Didn't look pretty, not artistic, but he got it done.
It was not pretty at all. I couldn't figure out quite what they were trying to do. They weren't playing a 2-man game. They weren't playing a 1-4. I couldn't figure out what they were going to do. But Juan Street knew.
Steve Smith knows what he's doing, putting the basketball in the hole when he has it in his hands. Smith has 25, right on his average. Had 2 Falcons draped on his shoulders. Said it doesn't matter, I'm going to fill it up, and did. Montgomery stole it from Venable and then grabbed him trying to go after the basketball.
I kind of wonder when the call was going to come to that. It was a little bit late. I think the officials looked at each other. Who's going to call it? Montgomery here, good defense, playing down. Hand around the side. Can't do that, Mr. Montgomery.
That's team foul number 7 on Michigan State. Sets up the bonus 1-and-1 situation for Bowling Green in the form of their catalyst, Quentin Venable. Came in here averaging 18.5 points per game through the first 2, a perfect 8 of 8 from the free throw stripe, and last year he was in the top 20 in this nation from the free throw line, shooting 90%.
Yeah, right up in there. I believe he was 7th nationally.
Venable has earned another. Going to look for his 16th of the afternoon from the line. There you see the numbers, 15 points, 4 assists, and had to sit early with 2 personal fouls.
He was out with only 4 minutes gone in the game.
69-56 as Venable is letter perfect twice from that free throw line. PG by 13. Smith had to dump it back. Watch Smith operate, twisting, turning, not getting the roll. Let's wave that off. Zuloff was in the cylinder. Offensive goaltending takes the Michigan State bucket away.
Unfortunate thing about Michigan State, what they're doing is they're getting the ball where they want to get it at the high post in Steve Smith's hands, but everybody else is standing around. Coach Heathcote is going to have to say, hey, you've got to move. When Steve gets the ball at the high post there, everybody else has got to move. You've got to keep things. You've got to keep the continuity going underneath. They're standing. You can't have that on an offensive play.
Joe Moore working the baseline, squeezing the trigger and filling up the jumper in the face of John Zuloff. Moore has 16 on the night. He and Clinton Venable both with 16 apiece. Michigan has beaten Utah 81-65. Montgomery measures the 3. Mark it down. 7 on the afternoon for Montgomery. 71-59, Bowling Green by 12 after Montgomery carries the triple. In the middle, Venable had his shot slapped back at him, but also drew the personal foul to John Zuloff.
Venable penetrating, good look inside. Here you see Colbert kind of taking the shot, or taking the pass. That's what happens sometimes when a little guy goes inside, huh?
You big guys do get your licks in, don't you?
Well, I don't think it's a tick or tack. It's just that happens once in a while.
No, it's certainly not a hate thing. It's just establishing territory.
That's right, territorial rights.
Big guys want it in the paint, no question. Clinton Venable right on the money. Let's talk about his rotation at the free throw line.
We see him set. I like the way he sets. This is a classic. He's got his feet exactly where he's supposed to. 1, 2, 3 bounces. He gets it in his hands. That's a perfect foul shot. Any young man sitting out there, you copy that, you're not going to miss many.
Good point from Luke Whitty, who's played a little bit of basketball, knows what he speaks of. 73-59. Montgomery again. Back rim with this triple try on the breakout Venable. Watch him operate. Excellent pass, Billy Johnson. Goaltending on second guy. Give the hoop to Billy Johnson. Off the creativity of Clinton Venable.
Venable coming down, twisting and turning. Look at this. Whoop. Lost him again. Gets it to the open man. And a goaltend, of course, stinging right there defensively. You got to give the man credit for trying.
That's Stegiga as a player. We talked about it, but how about Bowling Green? I mean, they have put some distance now between themselves and Michigan State. 75-59. Bowling Green with 6:44 left. Luke, they still got a chance to hit their average of 100 a game. And to borrow a Dizzy Deanism, who would have thunk it after they started out shooting 1 for 10?
Well, I would never have thought. In fact, we mentioned it during a timeout, Mike, that, you know, what's this team going to do? They're averaging 100 points a basketball game. They're sitting there with 2 points after a number of minutes that rolled off the clock. Thing of it is, Jim Larinaga could care less how many points. It's the difference.
Oh, that's right.
He's looking for.
Just amazing that they're even in this situation to approach that triple-digit barrier. Stegiga almost had his pass ripped away, but look at Steve Smith rise up in the face of 2 Falcons and bury the 8-foot jumper. 27 on the day for Smith. Trying to keep it close.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to see Steve Smith with about 15 more pounds. Boy, is he going to be dynamite.
What an offensive weapon he is. 76-61, Bowling Green's lead is 15. We are approaching 6 minutes left here at Anderson Arena. The 5th-ranked Spartans and Judd Heathcote on the ropes, certainly. Chen Bowling Green apply the KO blow. Joe Moore on the show and go inside. Went to Colbert, off his hands, out of bounds. Moore probably should have taken the shot.
Well, when you've got it, you've got to take it. The thing of it is, Bowling Green is showing their unselfishness. They're looking for the people that are closest to the hoop. Hey, if you can get a jam, it's a whole lot better than a 10-foot shot. That time, he probably should have shot it. Unfortunately for Michigan State is that the Falcons are playing very controlled. They're taking care of the basketball on the offensive end.
When you're up by 15, it's a good time to do it. Turnovers there, you see it about dead even. Stegiga and Pennick run into each other at the baseline. They got to pull it back out and reset it. Smith hanging, got it. My, the man can fill up the hoop. Steve Smith just went down in a heap with a left ankle as he started back up the floor. Oh, let's hope this is not serious.
Oh, that is something else. Let's see if he came down on somebody. You know, he was, nope, got tripped up by himself. Oh, I ache with him. Ankle injuries are not, here we got a view of it from a different angle. It's hard to tell how he came down on it.
Simply looked like he didn't have his feet under him set properly the way he wanted as he was backpedaling up the floor, Luke.
That's no one's fault. It's just one of those things that happens on a basketball court. I really feel sorry for him because he has got such a great career. He wants to come into his senior year doing the things that he can do, knowing that he's got a career after this year. You just hate to see something like that happen. Good athlete, and as good as he is, he doesn't have a lot of meat on him. I just said I'd like to see him with 15 more pounds. If you have an injury like this, the less pounds, you're in much better shape, and he can bounce back much quicker than most people could if they had the poundage on.
Judd Heathcote talking. with the officials about his fallen star, Steve Smith, who has been helped to his feet and walking off the floor. So 1 week from today, Luke, in Fresno, California, the Chippewas of Central Michigan University, coached by MAC Coach of the Year, Herb Duramity, carry the banner of this Mid-American Conference against the winner of the Big West, San Jose State, a tremendously prolific offensive football team. You can see it next week on Sports Channel. Check your local listings. Steve Smith has been helped off. We'll keep an eye on him. Joe Moore floats to the hoop.
Steve Watson looking, I tell you, when you've got a guy 6'9" out there passing the ball, you have got a great advantage because he can see the entire court.
Joe Moore has 18, 78-63. John Zuloff trying to make something happen. Steginga, yeah, counted with a foul. The cleanup man, Matt Steginga for Michigan State.
I think they call a guy like Steginga in Detroit, don't they call him the blue-collar worker?
Lunch pail guy.
The lunch pail guy.
That's right. He carries that lunch pail, wears the blue collar, and certainly gets it done with his work ethic, as we talked about. And he's going to the line. That foul went on Ed Colbert, his fourth.
No question about it. Good young man, pre-law major, averaging, grade point average, 3.42.
Matt Steginga has just rung up his 14th point of the afternoon with that free throw toss. Completes a three-point play. 78-66. Don't go away. Michigan State is not dead and buried as of yet by any means. Billy Johnson jumped up the 13-footer from off that foul line and got it to drop. Billy has 14 on the afternoon for Bowling Green. Dwayne Stevens comes up firing, didn't get it. We've got a push-off underneath. It's going on John Zuloff of Michigan State.
Zuloff a little upset, talking all the way down the court.
As I told you in the first half, in case you're just joining us, John Zuloff's twin brother, Jay, who is now at Marquette, started his career right here at Bowling Green with Jim Larinaga, ultimately transferred, but Zuloff has some of those, those family bloodlines working this afternoon with that adrenaline.
Oh, I'm sure he wanted to do well in Bowling Green this afternoon.
Steve Watson, line right. Talked about free throw shooters. Here's another guy in the top 20 for Bowling Green last year. Both Clint Venable and Steve Watson. This is his first trip to the line this year. Averages 11 on the year. Watson only split the pair, hit 1 out of 2. Has a total of 9 on the day. 81-66, 4:40 left. Bowling Green's lead is 15 as Andy Pennick comes up the wanting with that three-point effort. Bowling Green trying to run some offense right now for Jim Larinaga. Go in motion. Wyszynski slapped it away from Billy Johnson to BG O'Keefe.
Michigan State coming out now. They've got to pressure. They've got to go every corner of the offensive end to get that basketball.
Dwayne Stevens a little bit over-aggressive, banging away at Steve Watson as he was putting it on the floor. Watson's going right back to the line. Bowling Green crowd has been a tremendous source of moral support for Jim Larinaga and his Falcons today.
Very encouraging this afternoon, making sure that they don't let up on the visiting Spartans of Michigan State.
10th point of the day for Steve Watson to go along with his 9 rebounds, as you just saw. He'll look for number 11. Bowling Green continues to keep this lead in the 12 to 17 point range. They've got it at 17 right now, 83-66 as Watson has 11. Wyszynski and Pennick running it at that guard combo. Steginga for the tray, not there. Cleaned up inside by Stevens. Steginga barges inside. Watson met him up at the rim, but drew the personal foul.
There's Steginga. He's got to take, with Smith out. He's got to take control, taking over this basketball game.
Steve Watson sending a message to Matt Steginga as you take a look at it.
See the power. He's going as strong as he can up there.
Watson says, no, I got all leather, baby, all leather.
Sometimes you just want it back.
Matt Steginga going twice on these free throw tries. Nice afternoon for this young man from Grand Rapids South Christian High. looking for his 16th point of the day to go along with those 9 boards. He has now put that in the book, 83-68. We are under 4 minutes left at Anderson Arena. Bowling Green trying to engineer the second loss this week on the Spartans of Michigan State. Held in Nebraska on Wednesday night in Lincoln. Billy Johnson in trouble. Watson put it behind his back and lost. Turnover, Bowling Green.
I don't think Jim Larinaga had that in the playbook with Watson dribbling behind his back.
Got a timeout on the floor. Don't go away. We'll come back to Anderson Arena after we pause for this local break. Bowling Green's lead is 15 with 3:40 left in it. Bowling Green, Ohio. Dings at 1 and 2 since the 76-77 campaign.
And the thing of it is, you just got to say, ouch, because there are so many high expectations in East Lansing for this team.
That's a long season. They'll get much better on the lead. Dwayne Stevens off the pass from Matt Stegiga cleans up his own miss. Stevens gets it down, has 8 on the day. 83-70. Bowling Green's lead is 13. Clint Venable works Andy Pennick. Pull up and fire and fill up the double. 1 foot on the line. Give Venable just 2 there. He's got 21 in the day. 86-70. Well, Venable came to shoot it up tonight and steal the basketball as he just did. Billy Johnson too tall for Joe Moore.
If Joe Moore had another foot on him, he probably had it.
Joe Moore jumps out of the gym as it is. Now, they can't expect him to go up by the shot clock up there, Luke.
There you see Venable making a big steal at the other end of the court. Little too high.
Back to live action. Michigan State's Chris Wyszynski was just fouled by Billy Johnson as he started to put the ball on the floor and move through the paint. 4th on Billy Johnson. He will come down on Jim Larinaga's bench. Michael Uger back in. Billy Johnson sits down in the afternoon with 14 points.
Excellent afternoon for Johnson.
And we talked about him being a la Vinnie Johnson with the Detroit Pistons. He's the little microwave down here. He comes off the bench and heats things up.
The little microwave.
Well, Vinny's the microwave.
That's
They've already
true.
coined that phrase. Danny Ainge of the Boston Celtics named Vinnie Johnson the microwave.
I just read that not too long ago. Where was that?
Well, it was in the Sports Illustrated basketball issue, as a matter of fact.
Could be where I read it then.
I can understand why, too, because in a 12-minute span, Vinnie Johnson scored 25 points on the Boston Celtics. I guess that is heating it up. Billy Johnson does the same thing down here at Bowling Green. 85-71. Bowling Green with the basketball. They're trying to run down this final 2:35, and they've got their win. Venable. Back rim too much. Steve Watson had the rebound off the leg of P and out of bounds. Given to Michigan State.
This is where control, patience, and the coaching comes into effect for Bowling Green. They've got to spread the basketball court out. They've got to keep going to the 4 corners, pass the basketball around. Make sure that they're standing on the line the last 2.5 minutes of this basketball game.
Pennick loads up the big-time triple. That's out of NBA range and hit it. Pennick. First 3 of the day. Joe Moore went up to ram with 2 hands and got fouled on the way up. Had to hold onto that iron to protect himself.
Well, that's legal. If you have a situation where you have a man underneath you, you can hold down that rim. And that's what he had to do.
Joe Moore will be at the line. 2:13 left. 85-74. Bowling Green by 11. That foul goes on John Zuloff, and that is going to be number 5. Zuloff is going to have to exit for the afternoon.
I don't see Steve Smith.
He's down on the far end of the bench. Maybe we can get a shot at him in a moment.
Yeah, I don't see. I was looking at him, but I don't see ice on his ankle or anything. I can't quite see that far. But I hate to see anything that would jeopardize that young man's career.
There's a look at Steve Smith, All-American, 29 points today. Came up with a possible ankle problem, ankle sprain, although right now he's just flexing that left leg. We don't want to speculate too much on it because we have not got official word, except Judd Heathcote's not going to risk it with him in the basketball.
No way. He should not put him back in. It should be a situation, hey, we've got a game here that is not turning out well. There's no sense in him risking Steve Smith Big Ten action or the rest of the season by putting him into the game.
Big afternoon for that man you're looking at right now, wearing number 24 in white, Joe Moore, looking for his 20th point of the day. Not there, so Moore will stick on 19. Bowling Green's lead is 12 with 2:10 left. Michigan State needs instant offense and needs threes. Pinnacle load one up. Hurled out of there to Joe Moore. Michael Uger running the floor. Jim Larinaga wants his ball club now to spread things out, run the offense, run some shot clock. Uger in trouble, breaks it down. Moore just threw it up, tip it again, and one more time. Look at Joe Moore on that rim, but never got it to fall. Keep it with Bowling Green. Wow, Joe Moore is not only a great jumper, he's a quick jumper, Luke.
Well, the thing of it is, you know, most players, when they come down on the floor, now you watch Joe Moore here, when they come down on the floor, they have to reset themselves. You see that he is not resetting himself. He's keeping his hands high, always staying in contact with that basketball.
Minute 40 left as Clint Venable smells this victory being closed down. Billy Johnson barges to the hoop. Didn't get it to fall, and sticking it comes out hard for Michigan State. Montgomery fires it up and fills up the triple from that left baseline. Second three of the afternoon. Michigan State within 9, 86-77. Now we get words between Mark Montgomery and Clinton Venable. It has been a very, very heated affair.
Michigan State at this point, I think, is realizing that things are desperate. They're also realizing that Bowling Green is not a fluke.
By no means is this basketball program a fluke that Jim Larinaga has built, structured, cajoled, nurtured, whatever word you want to use. He's built them into the program that he wants, and he's taken it from basically square zero when he got here on this Bowling Green campus.
Excellent credit for Jim Larinaga. He has just done a fantastic job, as you just pointed out, Mike, and you got to give him a lot of credit. He's been very patient with it. I know it's been frustrating for him, but he's been very patient.
Clint Venable has just hit both from the free throw line. 23 in the afternoon, 88-77. Michigan State down 11 as Mark Montgomery went to the hoop and drew the blocking foul probably on Clinton Venable. For all of you watching on Sports Channel Florida this afternoon, we'd like to inform you that we will be joining them, bringing you the Gator Bowl tournament coming up immediately after the conclusion of Michigan State and Bowling Green from here in Anderson Arena.
Montgomery taking the big drive that time, trying to get some points on the board. Fouled by Clinton Venable, and Venable picked him back up. I'd like to see that. After a slight confrontation, you got to say, hey, we're ball players. We have to be professional about this. Just forget it.
11th point of the afternoon from Mark Montgomery. He has hit a couple of threes down the stretch here to try to keep Michigan State hanging around anyway. They're now down 9 again, 88-79. Just a minute 13 left as Michael Uger runs the floor. Jim Larinaga wants it spread out, and we've got an intentional two-shot foul coming up as Jeff Kassler, the 6-foot senior from St. John's, Michigan, just intentionally put the wraps on Michael Uger.
What is Michigan State doing right now? They're going to have to get themselves regrouped, not for this game. They've got to get themselves regrouped for the action to come. And the thing of it is, it's not over yet. You have a situation where you've lost two early in the season. I know my sophomore year at Ohio State, we had gone to the Far West Classic. We played absolutely horrible out there. We lost a couple ball games. We lost a couple ball games early. We got back into the Big Ten. We only lost one game. Those losses helped us get into control, helped us understand where we were going and what our set was. Unfortunately, the only loss we had was to Michigan State.
Well, there's a picture of a man who is not pleased, to say the very least. After Michael Uger buried two from the charity stripe, Judd Heathcote, Michigan State down 90-79 with just a minute and 6 left as the whistles start mounting up very seriously as we speak.
Well, Mike, it you had told me that we were going to be in running for 100 points like you just brought up a few minutes ago,
amazing.
I said, no way.
Well,
90.
We were 9 minutes deep in this basketball game, and Bowling Green had 6 points up.
Yep.
They started out 1 for 10 from the floor, but they picked things up, and they did it on the defensive end. That's where they did it.
Picking up, going off the glass, getting their transition game early on in the game because they were way down. They couldn't do anything right. Michigan State was doing everything correctly. Smith was having a good time in there doing the things that he does well.
Clinton Venable.
But the last 30 minutes have been all Bowling Green.
25 points for Venable. Pennick will load up the 3 and knock it through. Andy Pennick hits the 3. Judd Heathcote calls a quick timeout, try to conserve some ticks on that clock. Exactly 60 seconds left in it. 92-82, Bowling Green by 10. You see the throng of 5,000 plus here in the house that roars, as we talked about Anderson Arena here in the campus of Bowling Green State University. Roared today? Oh, yes, it has.
Well, this is a big rivalry. You have a Mid-American school playing a Big Ten school. This has got to be a feather in the cap of Bowling Green this afternoon.
No question about that. For all the best in sports news from coast to coast, scores, highlights, you name it. Great commentary. Make sure you watch Sports Nightly every night on Sports Channel. Check your local listings for viewing time. .82, Bowling Green by 10. Trying to register their second win in as many tries over the Spartans of Michigan State. Talked about it very extensively off the top of our telecast this afternoon. If you're just joining us, Bowling Green just shocked MSU. 81-79 in East Lansing a year ago. More of it today. And Joe Moore floats inside as we speak of Moore. Takes his stick back, rams it down, and draws the foul.
He took a hard dump, but I think he's going to be just fine.
Joe Moore got the hoop. 21 points on the afternoon for Moore, 25 for Venable. What a 1-2 combination Jim Larinaga has.
Mr. Hustle coming back in here. Right, he went down like a prize fighter.
Tough young man. He's had a little bit of strength, gotten a little bit bigger across the shoulders and chest this year.
Well, you take Michigan State is not down and out, though. They have such a dynamic program. They have produced many, many people that are playing professionally and have played professionally. Bowling Green has a few themselves.
Montgomery will fire up another three-point effort. Didn't get it to fall. Steginga may have just climbed the back of Steve Watson. Drew the whistle. Now, any team that has Judd Heathcote in control of things is not going to ever be down. Remember, as Stan Joplin told us, Luke, maybe a good time to bring it out, the assistant coach of Michigan State. That number 5 national ranking the Spartans received is pretty much for the team last year that finished up great and included Ken Redfield and Kirk Mans.
Well, they lost 2 very strong basketball players, 2 very strong defensive basketball players, and that's exactly what Michigan State had built their program on the defensive end. When you lose 2 guys like that, and they talked to us before the game saying, hey, that's where we're down. We're missing those 2 guys. We've got to readjust. We've got to go with the people that we have on the court right now and play the season in that regard.
Steve Watson, excellent afternoon. 13 points, 10 rebounds. Big, big cog in the Bowling Green machine. Falcons on top, 96-82. Three-point bomb is thrown home by Chris Wyszynski. Michigan State continues. Watch Joe Moore. Wham! That'll pretty much put the exclamation point on things this afternoon. Wyszynski comes up flat this time. And we've got a travel call on Bowling Green.
Even though Jim Larinaga doesn't look like it, he's happy. He's having a hard time smiling.
Look at Joe Moore.
Dunk.
Wow. Moore can climb it. 20 seconds left, 98-85. All that's left is for Bowling Green to hit that century mark. Jeff Kastner. Wyszynski got to fire it up. Watson got a piece. Wyszynski again for the triple. And that is going to do it. This basketball registered a 13-point win over Michigan State as the crowd frenzies here at Anderson Arena. We pause for this local break. Build onto this hardwood here at Anderson Arena. Why not? The Bowling Green Falcons have just ripped Michigan State 98-85. Bowling Green now 3-0, and they've beaten Michigan State twice consecutively in the last 12-month period. Luke Whitty, what got it done for the Falcons?
Well, Bowling Green is for real. What got it done for him? Transition basketball game. Venable taking the ball, getting it out to the side, rebounding by Joe Moore, and Billy Johnson just running up and down the court. Steve Watson doing a fantastic job on the board. Moore and Hall getting it at the other end. Fast break, jamming it home.
Well, you named about all 11 that Jim Larinaga plays, and that's pretty much the way it goes here at Bowling Green. Unofficially, Clinton Venable finished with 25 points to lead the BG Falcon attack. Joe Moore had 23, Billy Johnson added 14, and Steve Watson collected 13. Coming up next, the IMSA Grand Prix. It is not available in all areas, so make sure you check your local listing. Steve Smith with 29 points led Michigan State today before being hurt. Our producer-director of this basketball game was John LaChance. Executive producer Joe Tanzarello. Production facilities from WVIZ-TV. Thank you for being with us this afternoon on Sports Channel. For Luke Whitty, this is Michael Regai. Once again, the final score, Bowling Green beats Michigan State 98-85. Have a great night, everybody.